So, welcome along to another Behind the Host episode, and I'm really overjoyed today to have Amanda Williams. So, Amanda Williams is better known as Amanda the Traveling Realtor. She's a private money lender. She's bought and sold homes in all different models, including lease options. She's a licensed realtor and serving buyers and sellers and investors since 2013. She's the founder of Carolina Furnished Rentals.com. She specializes in midterm stays, and this is something which I think a lot of people listening in are going to be really interested in is how they get midterm stays. A lot of the time we're talking about short-term stays. She's also now diving into health and well-being retreats, and all of this is based in Mexico. And on top of that, she's also a best-selling author, which is amazing. There's so much there. So thank you, Amanda, and welcome along. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. And you are too. So we're all authors together. Isn't that
I know,
exciting?
brilliant, isn't it? It's a bit of a change. We were saying we all met up in London last week for the book launch, and we were saying that you guys across there have all got to get together at some stage and really, celebrate this because it's a massive thing. So, thank you so much for joining us. What we're going to do today, for those of you listening, we're going to dive into Amanda's sort of midterm rental business. We're also going to talk about opportunities and just how you can create passive income through short-term rental. So Amanda, just introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your story about how you got started in this space.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think you did a great job. Yeah, we got started. We had long-term rental portfolios, and my dad got sick. So we took him down to Mexico for some cancer therapies down there, alternative treatment therapies. And so instead of letting our house sit empty, we threw it on Airbnb, just thinking, hey, we might be able to make a little bit of money to help pay for this expense of going down to Mexico. And within the first 2 weeks, we actually made more money. It paid our entire mortgage for the month. It paid for our condo that we were living in Mexico at the time. And we're like, oh, wow, I think we're onto something. And so that was like the first, that was our first, we house hacked. That was our very first one. And then from that point forward, it just like went crazy. I think we picked up, we had 9 open within a 12-month period.
That's amazing. And when it comes down to that first ones, was there any steep lessons? Because of course, if you're looking to sort of move away and that side of things, was there any steep lessons with that first one that you took into the rest of them?
Not really with the first one, just because it was our personal property. I would say we had a good lesson with our third one. That was about the time that we were flipping this house, and I was like, let's not sell it, let's just keep it. And so we kept it, turned it into a short term, and then the well went out on us, and so we owned the property. And then it took us 3 months to annex into the city and then run the city water because we couldn't dig a new well. And so we literally had to sit empty for 3 months, and that sucked.
Wow.
So
So no
yeah,
income during that time. No.
nope, nope. So that's really what opened our eyes to the arbitrage model. And that's when we started renting the properties from the landlords and then putting them into our portfolio and renting them that way. And then we just started arbitraging everything else.
So for the arbitrage side of things, so for the UK listeners, that is rent to rent, where you're taking a property, you're renting it, and then you're renting it for a shorter period of time. Are they the same ones that you still have now in your business that you do for these mid-stay sort of term stays?
Yeah. Yep. We've gotten rid of some of them, but the majority of the ones that we have right now are they're either arbitraged or we're just doing a straight up marketing. So we're partnering with the landlord and just marketing for them.
And when it comes down to the arbitrage model, what made you consider that to grow your portfolio?
I didn't want to run into the same situation that we had just ran into, sitting vacant for 3 months. If I had been renting that property, I would not have had to pay the rent on that property because couldn't live in the property. So that's what really opened my eyes to the arbitrage model.
That's
And
really
letting
cool. And
someone else, and not even considering the over $10,000 it costed me to annex in and to run the water to the property, you
wow.
know?
Yeah, there's a lot of learnings there, and we often get asked, and I know the listeners of this would be interested. Um, what sort of things would you have to consider before going into the rental arbitrage? And did your background as a realtor help you with getting into that sort of side of things?
It really did, because my pitch to the landlords, going in is, hey, I'm a local real estate broker. I use these properties for my clients. And at the time, I just started thinking like, okay, maybe this could work. So my whole pitch was like, hey, I'm going to market this property for my people who are coming into the area thinking about moving here. Maybe they're in between buying and selling. And so that was really what I pitched. And just the universe does funny things, right? That's exactly what our business looks like today. And so we probably 90% of our guests are all relocating to the Raleigh, North Carolina area. And so they're coming in, they're staying in our properties. And then, one of our agents, I'm not personally selling anymore, but one of our agents is selling them a house. And so it's a beautiful win-win for all of us.
Wow. So that model then, so you've not only just, you've got your property from the landlord, you then the people who come to stay with you, you're then able to sell them through the realtor business as well. So that's pretty spectacular. And for the people listening who want to get into that kind of market where in the UK, definitely there's a lot of, sort of properties going through, and the conveyancing time is taking a long time at the moment. So that means there's quite a lot of people who are looking for somewhere to stay. They've sold their house or they're looking to buy a house and live somewhere short term. What sort of things should owners be considering to be able to get into that market? And what are the benefits for offering these kind of mid-stay terms? So not just over a weekend or a week, actually looking for, looking after your guests for longer periods of times. And just as a on top of that question, what kind of lengths of time are we looking at for the people staying?
So we market 30, 60, 90 day. So that's pretty much what we're saying is, hey, come stay with us 30, 60, 90 days at a time. We never kick them out of the property. So if they do, if they come in and they say, we want to stay 60 days or whatever, we just say, you know what, we're going to block this property for you. And then once you find a property, once you're ready to move forward, just give us like a 15-day heads up.
Mhm.
And then we'll start marketing at that point and we'll have it full within that 15 days. So they really like that because they're not pressured into purchasing a property. And so they really know, what neighborhood they want to go into and all of that. And it works out very good for them.
That's cool.
Um, yeah. What was your other question? I had something.
So when it comes down to if the hosts which are listening, how would they reach out to say local estate agents and realtors, and what sort of things should they be talking about? How could they partner up with local realtors and get these people staying in their properties?
For the existing host, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So I would just reach out to the top brokers, in your area and just tell them that what you want to do and tell them, hey, you can market these properties, you can come in, you can do your videos, you can do whatever you want to attract the relocation clients coming in. And those realtors are not necessarily going to get any money from the client staying in the property, but they will get those referral fees. And so as a realtor, what would be smart would be to friend a lot of hosts and go into their properties, create little goodie bags, with your card on it, and then have in the messaging is really where it comes in the messaging when someone books, just ask them, hey, what brings you to the area? Oh, I'm thinking about moving there. Oh, great. I have a great realtor. If you don't already have somebody, can I refer you? And it's
Yeah.
as easy as that. And so if the landlord is not licensed, now they legally cannot get paid any referral fees.
Mhm.
But if the landlord is licensed, then they can work in a referral fee as well, and then just giving that referral over to that agent.
I like that. That's really cool because that's a win-win-win, and certainly here in the UK. So we sometimes host people in between homes in the same way, and the biggest bonus for the letting agents and the estate agents we deal with is it just gives them a solution for putting someone somewhere so they can sell and move out of their house, and they get the quick sale while they're then sorting out another house for them as well. So yeah, that is awesome. So when it comes down to your properties at the moment, which how many properties do you manage currently?
We have 18 in our portfolio right now.
That's
We're
cool.
not really managing though. We're not managing for anyone else.
And so these are all just the rental arbitrage or owned model, or
Yep. We
partnering with.
own them. We arbitrage some of them, and then we've partnered with. I think we have two investors at the moment that pretty much just come to us and say, "Hey, we'll buy whatever houses you want us to buy as long as you can fill them." And we're like, "Okay." So.
That's cool. That's cool. I mean, if we talk a little bit about that side of things as well. So when you've got that kind of trust from an investor,
Mhm.
what is the decision making about properties that you would take to your investor, and what sort of things do you look for?
Our bread and butter is a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 2.5 bath, in a certain area of town that's going to be appreciating. We have some new highways going in and some new stuff that we know about, like Costco's going in, stuff like that. So I'm always looking for areas that are going to get them their appreciation, hopefully. It's been pretty high lately. So that's really it. And anything that we can bring in $3,000 to $4,000 a month is just, we know we can rent it. We know it's going to be easy breezy, and that's just our clientele coming in. And so really, I mean, it's not that much. It's just like, hey, it's got to be updated, or you have to update it.
Yeah. So, and the reason you're updating it, is that to make sure it's right for the guest and to add the value to it as well?
Well, more, yes, I mean, both, I guess. But for us, we don't want to represent and put our clients in something that's not, up to par.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to be on brand, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. And they're all single family homes. That's another thing. Like, a market, like, I'm not going to stick you into an apartment.
Mhm.
It's going to be an actual house on usually a half acre of land. And so that really helped us when COVID hit, because my whole pitch was, hey, come quarantine with us. You're going to get a house on a half acre, maybe even an acre of land, and you can play in the yard. You can go outside. And a lot of these people that were from New York City and Los Angeles, they were like, oh my gosh, I can come down to North Carolina and I can actually like have a life during COVID. And that was refreshing.
The nice thing about that is that you really understand your niche, so you know who's coming to stay. You know what they're after as well. Like you say, own private entrance, a little bit of land, that they are family homes. They already want to move to the area, so they want to find out about the area, and you're perfectly placed to do that. So that sounds really like a perfect business model about knowing your niche. I really like that. So
Yeah.
what we're going to do is we're going to dig into your daily routine when it comes down to hosting these people. Do you get involved in the hosting now, or is that done through sort of your team? And what sort of do you use, sort of a PMS and that side of things?
Yeah. So at this point, we had our website built out for us.
Hmm.
And so everything's on our website, all of our properties, all that. We have our chat little girl on there. We have our contact form, all of that. So when someone goes to our website, they cannot book. They have to send in either a chat request or a contact request, and then that'll come over to us. My business partner, Alex, my other half, he contacts them and has a conversation with them, sees what's bringing them into the area, what the situation is, do they have dogs, da, da, da. And then we figure out what area they want to be in. And really, it's like, what do we have available for their dates? Because we don't really have that much. So that's our process. And then he gets everything from them and then sends that over. We have a form that goes into our CRM system that he fills out. And then that goes over to we have someone that we pay like as a manager for the company. And so then she uses that to create the lease. We do a 28-day lease because 28 days keeps us into short-term rental laws. So in case someone doesn't want to leave, we can make them leave. So we stick with that. And so even if they're in our property for 3 months, they're going to be signing 3 different, sometimes 4 different leases with us. Just because it's like, hey, here's the lease, and you sign and you pay and you get to stay, but you don't pay, you don't get to stay. And so that's what the manager does for us. So she sends over the invoices and the leases and all of that stuff.
What I like about that model is that you've got you're protecting yourself, you're doing your due diligence, you know your local laws, which is something which everyone can take away from this, to find out your local laws, make sure you're compliant, and Also, you've got a lead magnet there where they're landing on your website. They know exactly what it is you do. You've got your contact form, and we were at the Short Stay Summit last week, and there was, the information around how many guests now like to message or have a contact before booking, sort of your place. And that seems to be what you've got there, where they're actually sending you the details of what they need, and you're matching them up with if you can help them. What do you do if there's people that you can't help? Is it a case of sort of just saying no, we can't help, or do you just keep their details on file in case you get cancellations, that sort of thing?
So I teach this too, and I have a bunch of the agents. So any agent that partners with me with EXP, I give them my course. I help them get everything up and going. I help them start this business if that's something they want to do. So between Alex and I and our agents that have raised their hand and said, hey, we want to do this too. Just in the Raleigh area, we represent over 50 properties. And so if I don't have one, then I'm sure one of us has something that would be available in that time slot. And if not, I'm also friends with a lot of other hosts in the area, just because I used to run some of the investment groups in the area when I lived there. And so I know a bunch of people who are doing this too. So I can always find them something if I need to. So I feel pretty confident in that. And if I find them something, we still get the referral, for them buying a house. And so I still pass that referral over to one of my agents.
That building of community in your local area and becoming the go-to person, is such an important thing. And we're speaking to another host, Nancy from Texas earlier on today, and she said the same, that she gets involved with the local community. She builds bridges with the local hosts, also, the local sort of councils and, all the businesses in the area. And that means that when they get a lead, they're going to refer them to your website. And of course, when you've got that lead that you can't take, you're sharing out that potential guest and that potential business to other places. So to represent 50, I guess it's a case of you can fill your 18 first with the main contracts, and then you can hand over the overflow, which is such a good business model. And becoming oversubscribed is so important. So that is amazing. So one of the things we mentioned just before the call is something that you're doing now different to your mid-stay business, and I'm excited to talk about this. So it's a health and well-being retreat, and just talk us through this new business that you're launching.
Yeah. So I've been in Cabo since June of 2020. I literally came here for a real estate mastermind that I'm a part of, and I didn't leave. I literally did not take my flight home.
Fair enough.
And so, yeah, I've been here for now almost 2 years, and an opportunity came across about a month ago, and it was an opportunity I couldn't pass up. And so right now, we are in the process, we're under contract on a property 1 mile from the downtown Cabo San Lucas Marina here. And right now it's a compound on almost an acre of land, and half of it's developed. So there's a main house, there's pool, hot tub, gardens, like amazingness. And then the other half has not been developed. And so we are creating a retreat center there. We're adding 15 domes, kind of like yurt styles. And so we're adding 15 1 bedroom, 1 bath yurts, domes, along with an event center. Oh gosh, a commercial kitchen, maids' quarters, so we can have maids there all the time. All kinds of amazing stuff. So what we're going to do with this, and the idea behind it, is it's any type of event. So if someone wants to plan their wedding, have the reception, have a party, whatever, they can do that. Or if a bunch of friends want to get together, they can come down, they can rent the whole place. Or what's most dear to my heart is putting on retreats. So like health and wealth retreats, even wellness retreats, because I'm super into the holistic wellness and, curing cancer and just all of that. I love that stuff because we've done that before. And so I'm pretty passionate about it. So yeah, we're going to be doing all of that. Other hosts will be able to bring in their clientele and run their own retreats through the center. And then I'll be partnering with a lot of other people as well, and running all kinds of cool events out of there. Who knows what's going to come out of that place? I have no idea.
The passion absolutely comes out of you, and I can kind of picture what it's going to be like just from the way you've described it. And certainly in a world which is now opened up, where people are able to travel again, they want to be outside, they want to go to events, they want to go to retreats and that sort of thing. I can see how popular that's going to be. So really sounds really good. And is that going to be a separate wing to the business? So one of the things we always talk about within Boostly and is knowing your avatar and having the right kind of website, talking to the right kind of people. Is this going to be a separate wing to the a separate business altogether? Is it going to be connected in any way?
It's going to be a separate business. We're actually opening a Mexican corporation, and I'm actually partnering up with a few agents, or few. Actually, they are agents. They're my agent partners here in Mexico. So we're all partnering on this deal, and so it'll be ran completely separately. However, we are going to do a lot of our marketing for people who are coming down who may want to invest in a second home here or who may want to move here. And so we also have a team of agents here as well that we work with. And so again, those referral fees are going to be coming through. We have a couple building projects. We have a really nice luxury development about 15 minutes outside of Cabo that one of my partners that we're doing this with is building. And then our other partner is building a 74 unit condo complex. And so, and that's just, just our group. That's not including everything else going on here in Cabo. It's a great area for growth right now. There's a lot of stuff going on.
We do see, I mean, because we've got the direct booking websites, which Boostly do, we get to see where most direct bookings are going through. And Mexico is absolutely flying at the moment for direct bookings. And you did mention just before the call that pretty much all of your bookings are direct, which is music to our ears. And it's knowing your niche, knowing where your guests are going to be coming from, and getting them to book direct. So that is amazing. And one of the reasons for this podcast is to really get behind a host and to give other hosts who are listening ideas. So if you was to go back and give yourself a piece of advice at the start on how you get started in this area, what would you say to yourself?
Oh man. Well, I mean, we started with only being on Airbnb, and then we went, and then we partnered up with Guesty, which ended up being a little crazy. And then we've been through, I think we're on our third website right now, like actually paying to have someone build out a website. And it's been a learning experience. And finally we've got one that like, I'm happy with. So I would say, vetting out whoever it is that's building out your direct site, like, you guys, I think you guys build out the sites for them, right?
100%. We've got there's two different choices, but there is a couple of different products for everyone. So yeah.
Yeah. So we may need to talk about the Cabo Retreat Center site, because that's going to have to be a whole new site.
Hey, let's have a call. Let's have a call.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I would say just getting all of that, the foundation built, keeping your books on point from the very beginning. That's huge. I did not do that, I have to say. And also, if you're only on Airbnb, you're at a huge risk. Huge. I actually lost my Airbnb account, and I did nothing wrong. Like, they would not even tell me like why they kicked me off of Airbnb. I had a 4.87 rating, Superhost, over 500 reviews. And all of a sudden, just one day, everything was suspended. So this went on for months, and I was calling 2-3 times a week, and, oh, we'll call you back. Oh, we'll call you back. They never called me back, and they never told me what I did wrong. The only thing I could think of is I listed one of my buddy's properties here in Cabo just because, like, he's our friend, and he was going to put it on the market, but it was like a 3-month period. And I listed it, and I put his Canadian checking account on there for a Mexico property. I'm like, did I break a law? Like, I don't know. Is that a law? I have no idea. That's the only thing I did that was like, maybe I did something wrong, but I never got an answer. So we had to create a whole new Airbnb account in Alex's name. But honestly, that's one of the reasons why I'm just like, I'm not even putting anything else on Airbnb. Like, if I have to, I will, but I preach direct bookings nonstop now.
Music to our ears. And one of the things that Mark Simpson often says is we can't build our business on somebody else's land, which is what happened with Airbnb when they closed during the pandemic. A lot of people struggled or even went out of business. So Looking back, was that challenge one of the defining moments for you to decide? And as hard as it was at the time, would you say it's helped shape your business now?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. And I'll tell you something else. If we hadn't have had our own website going and my own marketing going out, we would have been bankrupt as well. Because we only had our calendar open for 2 months at that point in time, because we were starting to get some of these relocation people coming in. But even just those 2 months, we lost $60,000 overnight, just with bookings vanishing. And so thank God we were able to get everything booked through the direct booking. I did a boatload of social media and I got everything full within 2 weeks, which was like crazy. But that's the thing, like they can literally pull the plug at any point in time and your entire business is gone if you're only on one site. So that's really scary.
This is exactly what we preach, and that is, that is so good to hear that one, you managed to turn it around, and two, I mean, just diving into that, you said a boatload of social media. So what did that look like, and how did you go about doing that?
Yep. So okay. So there's this group. It's called the Raleigh Community Group. And so I went on, that was the main one that I got like the most eyeballs on,
Mhm.
because I went on there and I was just like, hey, we've got these properties at the point at this one particular property that I was marketing was on 4 acres of land. And so it was a 3 bedroom, 2.5 bath on 4 acres of land. And I started marketing. I'm like, hey, the perfect client for us is someone coming down from maybe New York City or someone living in an apartment with a bunch of kids and having to work from home and now Zoom school. So come down, quarantine with us. So keep in mind, our properties are in North Carolina. There's some controversy between the New Yorkers coming down to North Carolina. And so I did that and I got a lot of people mad at me because I was bringing the people from New York down who had COVID because they lived in a big city. I was bringing COVID to Raleigh and it was all my fault. And so I was turned into the local news stations. Oh man, there was like 500 comments on this one post, just people like ripping me apart. And that's okay because it got more eyeballs on the post and ended up getting completely full. So I just kind of like fell into that, luckily. But that was the one thing. I did post to a lot of other groups too, but that was the one that really just like went crazy.
Wow, what a story. I mean, in terms of just being able to post that and getting those eyes on your business. And you know what? There's something entrepreneurial about that, seeing that, as a positive. And at the end of the day, it was a positive because it helped your business grow. And one of the things that you get with social media is, if you've got something which conflicts people or causes a little bit of friction, then more people will comment, which will get more eyes on it. So, hey, well done. That's awesome to hear. One of the things that I do want to dive into is the Hospitable Hosts book that you're one of the authors of, which one of the international best-selling authors, I should say. So one of the I've read your chapter, and if anybody listening who hasn't already, go to www.hospitablehosts.com and get yourself the copy of the book, because there's 40 amazing authors in there, each telling their story, and Amanda's is certainly one to bookmark and to listen to. Amanda, one of the sort of themes within your chapter is making sure that you're able to have a passive income to be able to, if things change quickly, to be able to get up and do what you need to do. Talk us through how that came about, and your message to the people listening about how important that is.
Yeah. So thank you for that, by the way. I mean, the biggest thing for us is I've always known passive income was important. That's why we got into rental properties. And I thought that that was like the only way to create passive income. But then, getting into the short-term rentals and then the midterm rentals. And then I found, our real estate brokerage model, which a few hundred agents and it's paying us, well over a few $100,000 a year in passive income. Right. And so it's like, all of these different things, it's multiple streams of income. So it's a matter of what can you do the work one time and continue to get paid? Because there's going to come a point in time, like there was with me, with having to quit everything and take my dad to Mexico to get treatment, and then having to just stay by his side in hospice, there's going to come a point in time where it might not be a loved one or a family member or your parent or whatever. It might be yourself, where you actually cannot physically work for 6 months. And so that's the thing that just kept hitting me hard, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like all my agent friends that are out there hustling, they sell a house, they get paid. They flip a house, they get paid. That's all they have. And so if they can't get out there and work and trade those time for dollars, they might lose everything, because as we know, most agents live paycheck to paycheck, right? And so I got really behind that message and behind that, just helping other agents create multiple streams of passive income, not even just the short-term rentals. There's a lot of different ways, affiliate programs, all kinds of stuff out there that you can make passive income. And so that's my message to everyone, is just figuring out, like, what is your core business? And then what can you do around that core business to feed that core business, but also make all of that make money too.
And that's so important. You reminded me of a story of one of the people in our Boostly Academy. So we've got a Boostly Academy, which is where we train people how to get more bookings, but more direct bookings. And one of the members of that academy during the lockdown pivoted. Obviously, the business was quiet. She pivoted into making cakes and bits and pieces, and selling those, and done really well out of it. Just managed to help a business stay afloat during that time, and just having those other options. And it's amazing where, if we have to be resourceful as entrepreneurs, we're not a resource, we're resourceful. And as hosts, you have to be resourceful at times when you're getting calls at all sorts of time of day. So it's amazing when we have to do that, how you can come up with these ideas. And your message really there is, you could probably come up with the ideas now and then be able to live passively when you need to, which is so important. And I love the fact that it's given you the passion for the well-being retreats, and to make places where people can go for that sort of thing, which is really awesome. So, which is a really nice way to sort of bring it towards a close. As we get to the end of this, we'd like to do some quick fire sort of questions. They're just for fun, really, but if we just do a couple of those. So the answer can be short as long as you like. What is the thing that you're most proud of today?
Gosh, most proud of, probably, I'm proud of a lot of things, honestly. I believe in celebrating our wins, right? So I would say building a lifestyle that creates freedom. And I'm not stuck in having to have the fancy car and the, multi-million-dollar house. I don't really want that. I would rather travel and create experiences and memories and bring my mom along with me. My mom is now naming herself the traveling mama, which is really cool.
I like that. So you got Amanda, the traveling realtor, and the traveling mama.
Yeah. I'm like, Mom, we're gonna have to make you an Instagram account now. You know that, right?
She needs her own blog from the mum's point of view. That's what she could do. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
So
she's 75 years old. She just turned 75 last week. I'm like, this is great.
It's great. That is awesome. Who is your favorite, or name a celebrity, living or past, who you'd love to meet or have met?
Who would I love to? I mean, obviously there's Oprah,
Good answer.
Yeah. Someone, and I don't know if I would say he's a celebrity at all. He's probably not, but and I've met him and I've done a lot of things with him, but someone I strive to be more like every day is Pete Vargas. And so Pete Vargas,
I'm going to write that.
He's a public speaking coach and trainer, and he just is the most authentic person I've ever seen on stage and in real life. And so for me, it's really about being like genuine and authentic. And I learned that from him. And he's been a mentor of mine for like 4 years now.
Awesome. I'm going to give him a Google after this. So thank you. And I'm sure many of the listeners will as well.
He's not very big on social media, which is so funny. I'm like, you need to be big on social media, but
We'll have a little Google. What is one app that you use every day that you couldn't do without, basically?
Insight Timer.
Insight Timer. Now, this is a new one. I love tech like this. What is the reason for Insight Timer?
Insight Timer is it's a meditation app. And so it keeps track of how you're meditating. I do silent meditations now every morning when I wake up. And so it keeps track of all of that. You can do, it gives you the pretty bells, and it's just wonderful. It tells you how many people are meditating so you can connect with their energies. Meditation's changed my life. I think I'm on I think today was actually my 100th consecutive day. So that's pretty cool.
Congratulations. That is, I've not tried it myself. I've tried the early morning routines, but I do hear some really good things about making some time for meditation. So it's definitely one to look out for. So, well, that is awesome, Amanda. I'm really pleased to have met you. I feel we've got to know your business and you, and the passion definitely shows through. Just so the people listening, if they want to get in touch with you and find out more, what's the best way to do so?
Yeah, so I'm Amanda, the Traveling Realtor, on everything. You can go to my website, amandathetravelingrealtor.com. I'm all over social media. Like, you literally just Google that and you're going to see everything about me.
Amazing. So, Amanda, thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure having you on Behind the Host. Thanks, and I wish you all the best of luck with all the ventures for the future. So thanks again.
Thank you very much.
Having a blast, gonna get it on the Bruce Lee podcast. Bruce Lee like Bruce Lee, cause it's so hard and the T is loose leaf. Making up those rhymes, don't write it, just do it loosely.